Hello everybody, welcome back to Mining Modern. I'm Corbin Hosfler and this is Lantern Control. This is the Pro Tour Rivals Ixalan edition of Mining Modern. And you know what, we're going to start it right off, oops, in my upkeep here. We're going to start things off with a Lantern of Insight because we are celebrating Luis Salvato's Pro Tour victory with Lantern Control. One of my favorite decks in the format. I have it built in paper. I love the deck. I know a lot of people out there don't like it. I get it, but you know what? There's something beautiful about this deck. Your plays matter a lot. It's actually way more interactive than people give it credit for. It's a lot of fun to reward you for knowing the format, both your deck and your opponent's decks. What can I say? I'm a fan. I know if you don't like it, it's not your thing. I understand, but you know what? Let's have some fun. Because look at it this way. At least we're playing Lantern. It's going to be fun for us. Looks like we're in some sort of Eldrazi and Taxes deck here, which seems like probably not that bad for us, to be honest. We get to go ahead and Inquisition our opponent here, then play Pixis and have basically everything we want in this game, to be honest. Yeah, take Flicker Wisp. Basically all we care about here. Our opponent's going to have a turn 3 Thought Knot, but we will have everything relevant in play by then, to be honest. This was a very good Lantern hand. Turn 1, Lantern. Turn 2, discard. Turn 3, Bridge with a Pixis, with a Mill Rock up to prevent him from drawing anything relevant afterwards. That's what you want right there. Get rid of the Flicker Wisp that can get rid of our Bridge for a turn. So, should, in theory, be able to control our opponent from drawing anything too scary from this point on. They don't have that many relevant things for us to care about right now. There's a Displacer. That's no problem at all. Let's see, we have to draw that there. It doesn't really matter. All we want to do is slam Bridge here. I guess there is some danger to our opponent having a Thought Knot Displacer lock? Maybe? I think they're a little ways away from that, though. You know what? There's probably no harm in just milling, though. That way, well, we're going to get Thought Knotted anyways. Oh, our opponent doesn't have another land. Haha, never mind. They don't have a land for a Thought Knot yet, so we're actually going to be in the clear here to resolve some of this. Not that it matters too much. I guess it means we get to play another Lantern. My opponent can play a Wasteland Strangler if they want. That's I mean, really not too much matters here. There's the Ether Vial out of their hand. So do we Pixis away their land and try to keep them off of lands? The Displacer is the only thing we really care about. And I don't mind drawing Lantern, but I don't really want to either. I'll go ahead and Pixis away. Yeah, that's fine. Drawing Moxo will actually pretty good for us as well. It means we'll be able to whir if our opponent tries to, lock us out. Alright, so we will go ahead and I guess I may as well. And we can hit the other Displacer from our opponent's hand, so that's pretty good actually. I can do this without, I'm going to have to pay life one way or another here. Alright, we'll Inquisition our opponent's Displacer. We will Abrupt Decay this Displacer. So there we go. Now our opponent can draw lands and they can have their Thought Knots and so on. It doesn't matter. We can't even get Displacer Thought Knot locked out of the game. So at this point, all we want to do is draw. We'll let our opponent have lands from this point on. Thalia really doesn't matter that much either, but I don't really want the Spire, so... Oh, drawing Spire Industry is not even the worst, actually. I might just draw it, because Thalia ultimately doesn't really matter. They can tax us if they want. It's basically just Flicker Wisp, I think, that we care about. We have the mana to play through a Thalia tax, so that's no problem. The problem for us, if you really want to call it a problem, is that our opponent's going to be able to Thought Knot our draw step for several turns here, which isn't ideal, I guess. But shouldn't matter that much. Our opponent has very few ways in which they can actually draw out of this. Basically, it requires them to find a Flicker Wisp. Granted, we only have one Mill Rock up right now, so we're just looking for more Mill Rocks. But even if we hit a Whir of Invention, we can Whir in our draw step when they try to Thought Knot us and put one into play. All right, we'll Pixis those things away. Scholar, pretty good for them as well. And, you know, Glimmer Void's not great for us, but may as well take it. I don't want to get too greedy here. And, you know, and I'll let my opponent have the Tide Holy Scholar. And they can just mess with our draw step for a few turns if they want. We're just drawing to words at this point anyways. We have a lock in place otherwise. So we'll give them all the draw step effects. We just want to keep them off of Flicker Wisp. And this is one of those games where we basically established the lock. I mean, I don't know if I'd say on turn 3 is correct, but by turn 4, we had basically locked our opponent, not out, right, but definitely behind. We can also activate Inventor's Fair in our main phase to go get whatever we want. We basically just want a Codex Shredder at this point. Probably all it's really going to take to get there on this one. Comes a Scholar. I may as well Pixis, I suppose. This just does... No, that's just a literal nothing. There's no need... And I understand it's not necessarily the most exciting of viewing, but one of the mistakes I think you can make... See, that's one they'll fight over, I think, because that keeps us... That stops us from getting Thought Knotted. But one of the things you don't want to do is get greedy with this. So you can be patient with Lantern. That's, you know, you can afford to do that. We'll make our opponent play our game. We'll just wait till the right cards are on top of our library, and we won't, you know, greedy mill trying to do more than we need to do here. Now, Thraben Inspector is actually pretty annoying because instant speed card draw is a problem. Of course, I also want to draw the Switchbane Orb, so we'll make them fight over it here. I'm going to do this anyway, so let's go ahead and do it. And there is the Flicker Wisp we were a little worried about, but it's okay. We needed to get rid of that. We didn't want to give them the clue token. All right, our Richbane Orb is out, but we can just pop Inventor's Fair here. Go get a Codex Shredder. Oops, tapped a little too much mana there. All right, Codex Shredder in play. We will mill our opponent. Leonin Arbiter, not a big deal. I mean, it is kind of a big deal, I suppose, but in that we can't whir as easily, but it probably won't matter because I don't think, you know, we get through this draw step. Sure, there's a Displacer, and we don't want to let them have Displacer, so I'll probably in my upkeep Pixis. But yeah, we should have everything we need right now. 2 Mill Rocks and Hiding Behind Bridge is probably enough to get there. It's not a guarantee, but probably. Yeah, here this comes. It does mean we don't necessarily want to give them a bunch of land destruction or whatever. I'm going to go ahead and Pixis in my upkeep here. And there's a War of Invention. Okay. It's a blank for our opponent to draw. All right, so can we do this? We can go 1, 2, 3, pay for... Yeah, we can still go get whatever we want here, which I suppose is just another Codex Shredder. All right, first thing I need to do, though, before I go any further, is pay for this. I've learned how this works. You have to pay up front. All right. I'm just getting another Codex Shredder, so I guess I'll keep the Mox Opal. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. Sure, whatever. Alright, we'll get a Codex Shredder. Another bridge on top of our deck. That sounds good. Pass the turn to our opponent, who is drawing a blank. So now with 3 mill rocks, I would say the lock's in place. This is the sort of situation where you're probably just supposed to concede if you're, on the Eldrazi player side here, because you're very unlikely to draw anything that matters. The odds are extremely low, especially given that we kind of have a head start here of attacking them in the end step. Well, I'm going to get rid of these Ghost Quarters. And there's a Displacer. Well, we are going to get rid of that. Oh, we can actually just Needle for it, or Needle it next turn, but I guess we can't really do that now. All right, so let's go ahead and... I do want to draw it, though, so I'm going to go ahead and mill them. All right, you can have an Arbiter. That's not a problem. Don't need to search my library anymore this game, really. This is why Lantern's so good. You just slowly lock out more and more cards. Displacer's the thing we've had to worry about, and we've had to get rid of a few of them. But the thing is, obviously in this case, it doesn't really matter, right? But we wouldn't have to care because you play Pithy Needle, and now all of a sudden those Eldrazi Displacers on top of their deck are no good either. And I guess I'll go ahead and name it. There's only one left in the deck, but whatever. That's one more card they can't draw that does anything. I suppose technically Path to Exile does allow them a shuffle, but you know what? You can have it. Our opponent's just on the... Oh, I see. Okay, our opponent is just trying to time us out, I guess. That's the world we're in right now. Fair enough, I suppose. Interesting. I guess you got to be pretty hard on the Magic Online grind if you are just trying to time someone out. But whatever. I don't know if that's kosher in Magic Online or not. I suppose I don't have a problem with it. I guess I need to cast this. I'm not going to run out of time, though, because that's the thing about Lantern is if you're competent with the deck, it's not really a problem. And it's not going to take us that long to do it either. Our opponent's going to get maybe 2 minutes off of our clock here. I hope that's worth it. All right, X is 1. We'll get another Codex Shredder, let our opponent have the turn. Yeah, I think we'll be fine here. Our opponent has to clean up. Yeah, discard. Sure. Okay, we'll pass back. They're down to 16 cards in their library. It's not going to take that much longer. What is this? They're casting a card? Oh, yeah, okay. You got it, man. All right, we'll take whatever. It doesn't matter. We'll pass the turn to our opponent. All right, they're down to 13 cards, so we're just about 2 turns away here. All right, so this is it. We'll just mill our opponent out here and pass the turn back. Our opponent has to discard. Bottom card of their library is a Flicker Wisp, and pass the turn to move on to game 2. All right, fair enough. I guess trying to clock someone out is a thing you can do on Magic Online. It's hard to even be mad. I guess I'm playing Lantern, right? So, all right, we need to deal with Stony Silences out of the sideboard here. I don't really know exactly what we want here. This is fine, I suppose. It keeps us from getting Thought Knotted. Everything else is good, necessary. We want it, so on. Grafdigger's Cage, I don't think it does anything. We want to keep the Spellbomb, I suppose, so we have the option available to us. The question is if we want another Needle. I guess basically for Displacer. I could also take Tezzerets, which are probably fine, but probably not even that great. I think basically our game plan A is good against this deck, so there's probably not too much of a need to deviate here. Just make sure we deal with the any surgicals or. Yep, this one's a keep. Not the best hand ever, but it's doable. Our opponent mulliganed as well. Got some hand disruption here, which we can't actually use until turn 2, but that's probably fine. Yeah, nice start for them, though. All right, well, let's go ahead and start it off, figure out what our opponent's on. Hopefully it's not hopefully we don't get, we're on top's pretty good. Hopefully we don't get a turn 2 Stony Silence here. That would obviously be the most difficult to deal with. Wasteland Strangler, not a problem. So as long as we dodge the turn 2 Stony Silence, we should be okay. And if they're making colorless Eldrazi mana, I think we're going to be in an okay spot. Is it a Matter Reshaper? No, they need white mana, so it must just be a Displacer here. All right, Displacer it is. That's fine. All right, so we'll go ahead and Inquisition our opponent. Basically, we just need to build up mana and get to a bridge. Whew, those are actually pretty good. I suppose we want to take the Scholar and then the Flicker Wisp. Well, our opponent's not going to draw a land that they can cast, so I might take Scholar here and then play a Pixis. Okay, yeah. So this way, our opponent's going to play a tap land. We take the Flicker Wisp next turn, and then the turn after that, we should be able to whir for bridge and probably have a lockout. Well, I mean, Pixis are not Codex Shredders. They are worse. They mill both players, but it should at least, we should be able to at least keep our opponent from drawing anything too relevant. We're going to be facing down double Displacer, which is annoying, but probably not a big deal. That Thalia is actually annoying, though, for what it's worth. The thing is, I guess I want to mill it. I kind of want to just draw a Bauble, though. That's the issue. Do I mill the Thalia? I think we can probably afford it. Arbiter's pretty annoying, too, for what it's worth. All right, well, I think the play here is to Inquisition our opponent, take the Flicker Wisp. Heck, I may as well Thoughtseize. It puts us down to 4, or 14, and then we take 6 from those. Well, I guess we also need to get rid of this stupid thing, so we can search our library next turn with Whir. Ghost Quarter is fine. So yeah, so we can afford this because we need to clear our hand. So All right, this looks pretty good, I would say. Dry Mox Opal, by the way, is also perfect, and our opponent should see the writing on the wall. To be honest here, they don't really have anything that they can do. We get a whir for our bridge next turn, and then they won't be able to attack. Are we firing up the Shambling Vent here? Is that the play? I think it... Oh, they don't have the white and the black mana. Might have been the play. All right, we'll go down to 8. I don't actually care about them having Thalia once we resolve this, so that doesn't matter. All right, blue, blue, blue. All right, the problem here is we only have one Mill Rock. So this is basically the only turn of the game our opponent has to make something happen. And it depends. Basically, they need to Ghost Quarter themselves to try to get something better on top of the deck. Because we don't care about the Thalia, so the only way our opponent can win is to Ghost Quarter themselves and then have Runner, Stony Silence on top. Which they do not. And they did not make that play, at least. So I would say that we've turned the corner. Corner turned. In fact, door slammed completely shut, safe to say. Let our opponent have all the lands that they want. Not timing us out this time, I think. All right, Mirran Crusader. Oh, yeah, but they're going to. They're going to try. All right. Fair enough. Do I want to draw the Witchbane Orb? If my opponent's just trying to time us out, no, let's just go ahead and get on it here. I'm just looking for Mill Rocks. We'll get this out of our hand, even though it doesn't matter here. Yeah, I don't know if our opponent thinks I'm just going to spend 12 minutes here milling them out, but that seems unlikely, so I'm not too concerned here. But yeah, I guess this is the life we're on. Yeah, on principle, I guess I get it. If your opponent's going to play Lantern, you make them finish the game. Fair enough. All right, I'll go ahead and draw an extra card here. Should be fine to do that. All right, we will draw the needle. There's a lantern on top. Our opponent wants to flicker their Thought Knot in our draw step. Sure. Or rather, flicker their Tideholder Scholar. And that will get rid of our Pithing Needle, I suppose. Not really a problem. I do want to get rid of this Thought Knot for them, though. Also that Thraben Inspector, but I'm not sure I can do that. I guess we just give them the Thraben Inspector here. I also want to draw Academy Ruins, so... Our opponent's maybe not gonna scoop out of it quite yet, which is fine. They went from F6ing to trying to compete here, which is fine. It's completely reasonable on their part. This is actually a real lock. I mean, I say a lock. It's a reasonable reasonable series of things to have. Let's see if they value this Leonin Arbiter. Nope. Okay. I didn't really care about it either. Oh, I guess I need to play this Mox Opal so we don't get beat down by the Thraben Inspector here. You know what? We actually have more problems than I thought about here, though, because this Thraben, they can blink the Thraben Inspector and draw a bunch of cards. So that actually is a set of problems. Maybe I just really didn't want to have. Maybe it was that bad for me. It's possible. Our opponent still has to draw something relevant, which is going to be the issue, but this is a real thing that they're doing. Clue tokens are traditionally kind of hard to beat. And we don't have a Codex Shredder. Yeah, we might not be out of this one yet. And there's the Stony Silence, too. Yeah, kind of a problem. We could well be dead here. I might have messed this one up. In fact, looks like I did. So they X out and they just have another one on top. Is that what I'm seeing here? That's pretty nice. So let's shuffle. We have an Abrupt Decay on top of ours, so that's good. Did they allow that to happen? Yes, it seems that they did. Okay, you can draw. I just put the Lantern back on top of my deck with the Academy Ruins. I really might have messed up by letting him have this Thraben Inspector, though. My opponent baited me into thinking they would just actually F6ing their way out of this. They actually could have got that Stony Silence if they'd really wanted by blinking the Thraben Inspector in response and then drawing off the new Clue token. We would very much like to draw a Whir so we can get a Pithy Needle into play on the Displacer. We can also just draw Abrupt Decay for the Displacer. We've used one of them, though, so we have to keep that in mind. All right, here we go. Let's figure out what they're playing over there. Wasteland Strangler. All right. Actually not sure what our opponent's going for here. They don't have anything to process, right? Oh, they do. They're Pixis cards, duh. Okay. Sure, I guess. I'm pretty sure we had a Abrupt Decay on top of our library, if I recall. I don't think that there's a way to see, unless I paused and went back and looked at the video. But my opponent doesn't have... I think I'm just going to try to draw it. Yeah. So now we'll go black and green. Oops. No need to pay life there. And I guess we hit the Thraben Inspector. It's scarier than the Displacer, actually. I think. Because Displacer we can answer with Pithy Needle. So I think we just need to make it through one more turn here, because we can activate Academy Ruins on our upkeep and get back our Lantern, and then we're back into a locked position. But we will see, I suppose. Also, things have been exiled by Pixis, so that's also a concern. Our opponent could get Thought Knot here. They only have one card in hand, but there are things that could be that would be very good. Looks like we might be okay. Get back our Lantern of Insight here. Conveniently have exactly enough mana to play it, and be back into at least a Pixis lock, and we're going to mill out before our opponent at this rate, although not with Academy Ruins in play. We can loot Mox Opals. They want to Ghost Quarter us after the ability is resolved? No, the ability has not resolved, so we're free to go get a land here. I think they wanted to let that ability resolve and then still do it in our upkeep. We don't get a Loop Academy Ruins, but we do get to reestablish a lock. Oh, maybe we don't. Oh, because of this stupid thing. I forgot about this. Yeah, I guess I should hit this. Yeah, maybe I've played really bad. Okay, maybe I'm terrible. Man, blame watching the Super Bowl. I had that abrupt decay, and I was worried about this stupid thing, and I forgot about this other thing that they had in play. Should just hit this. Am very bad. Haven't lost the game yet, but can't say I'm playing very well. This is what I like about Lantern, ironically, is it does punish you for messing up. You know, you have to play well to do well with it, and I have not played well. And we're out of abrupt decays, which means we have to draw a whir. And now whir is not very good. In fact, we have to draw lands first. Or draw Nature's Claim. On Tideholder Scholar? Question mark? Let's see how this works here. I think both of these things happen at once. Okay, so we get our card back. So I can activate targeting the Tideholder Scholar. I guess that's what we have to do here. They get to respond by doing it again, but then we don't have a card in our hand. So this might actually work. I might have pulled myself back from my punt here. Because I think the Tideholder Scholar will come back. However, there's not going to be anything in our hand, and then we get to play the Pithy Needle and name Displacer. Which still doesn't end it because we don't have a Lantern right now, but... So it actually, you know, is... Okay. Oh, it was a Lantern under, not the... Gosh, I'm so confused by what's underneath these things. Whatever, it doesn't matter. We've been sent a message here. Great. Okay. Cool. All right, so we get our Lantern back, so we're back into this lock. All right, Spellbomb, pretty good draw. One that, you know, I assume we won't get to actually have, but... The thing is, we actually do want to draw a land before we draw a whir. Otherwise, we're not going to be able to get through Thalia and Leonar because it's going to cost 4 to do it, and you have to pay the 2 for this. Okay, well, our opponent still got some bad draws. At least we have a little control over the draw step now. I definitely punted this, but we might get bailed out. My opponent has to let me have something, so yeah, we get the Ancient Stirrings here. See what we can find. We've got a bridge in the top 5, but hopefully we do better than that. We did not really do better than that, but I guess Codex Shredder is a win condition. All right, we've broken. We've done it. We've broken serve here, right? We have the board at a stall, but now we have a way to actually mill our opponent more than just ourselves. So I would say we might have dug out of the hole here. All right, I'm actually fine drawing that land. I'm fine letting my opponent draw land. Yeah, perfect. There's a whir for our next turn. I think that we've probably made it here. Because this Codex Shredder should, like I said, kind of break serve where we can mill our opponent harder than we mill ourselves, which now that we can't loop, that's sort of what we need. Now, our opponent can do this to try to time us out, I suppose. But sort of whether they do that or not, I don't really care if I time out. The point is I played kind of badly, but I made some mistakes here, but I think we're going to get bailed out of them regardless. So I do now have enough to do this. All right, so let's go ahead and start with paying for the Leonin Arbiter here. And worrying for 1. Or 2, I suppose, but this gets us hopefully a Pithy Needle. Yeah, we've got a Pithy Needle here. That should lock her up. I think we made it. Well, I didn't play perfect, but I played well enough, I suppose. We have fixed the Eldrazi Displacer problem. Now our opponent needs really some running top decks to get there. Honestly, the deck has changed more with War of Invention than you sort of expect. I've played a lot of Lantern pre-War and in paper, for what it's worth, entirely in paper. And the mechanics of playing the deck in paper are actually far different than playing the deck online. So I know I didn't play great here, but you know I played okay. But it is actually surprisingly different and difficult to do online versus in paper. All right, so we'll go ahead and mill our opponent. Flicker Wisp. I don't want him to have that, but I do want this Codex Shredder for myself. All right, we will Pixis away the Flicker Wisp. Let them have a Temple. All right, we're there. The lock is in place now. We have 3 Mill Rocks. There's no way our opponent can win the game. But I guess we're going to go ahead and play it on out anyways. It doesn't really matter what I draw, so I may as well just get rid of the Flicker Wisp. All right, our opponent scooped. All right, we got there. Not the best game of Lantern Control I've ever played, but you know what? The deck has a lot of power and resiliency, and you know our opponent kind of did what they wanted to do. They had their own lock going on in our draw step. As much as you want to talk about my deck's unfun to play, and I get it is kind of fun to play against, getting your draw step locked out doesn't necessarily feel a lot better. But either way, everyone, thank you for watching. Congrats to the Pro Tour winner with Lantern Control, and if you're trying to play the deck, learn from my mistakes, but also the spots where I did play well. Thank you for watching, everyone.